Hey, Jet Screw and other viewers. Nice day out today. Just thought I'd do a vlog out here on the doorstep. I was gonna tell a story here today. It's not very funny. Well, it's not funny at all, I guess. But now, where I'm sitting outdoors here, I just got thinking about one time we had a pretty bad flood here. And in a second here, I'm gonna turn the camera around. I'm sorry about the passing cars and things and the sound. It's probably going to drown me out a little bit. And my camera's jiggling a bit here because of the wind, but it's a nice day all in all. It's a little on the cool side for having no shirt sleeves, but it's nice. But anyway, yeah, so to get right into the story here, this place, we've had a couple of pretty bad floods here over the years, and the one I'm about to tell you about, it happened on a Thanksgiving weekend, Canadian Thanksgiving, and we had almost what you would call the perfect trifecta of things to happen for us here where we live, for the flood to happen as bad as it did. We had storm surges, we had lots of rain for a couple of days, and we had lunar tides, and all those things come together to make kind of like a perfect storm of things to happen for us to have a really bad flood. And so here I'm gonna turn this around here and towards the road here, and if you can see right here, it's the road. You can tell like where that little green tree is, little spruce tree there. The ground where the road is quite a bit higher than our field here, and I pan over here and look out the driveway. Like you can tell, our driveway comes down a bit to where the road is lower than where the actual house sits here. And here's our, you look here, here's the steps, and there's where our vehicles always sit. We got a orange Dodge Caravan right now, and the van you see up behind it is just the van we had before this one. It doesn't work anymore. We just kind of use it for storage. But anyways, to get on with the story here, I'm going to turn this back onto me here to, well, I guess it don't matter. You guys don't need to see my face. You've seen it before. But anyway, yeah, so like I said, it was a Thanksgiving weekend, and all those things that I mentioned all come together and happen at the same time. So it was probably about 7 or 8 in the evening, I would say, and all this water was laying around. And so anyway, the next door neighbor up the road was an elderly woman, and she had called the fire department, and the fire department come out with one of the trucks, and they had a Zodiac boat in tow, and they rescued her and took her to safety in another vehicle. And so then they pulled the fire truck up out here right about where that little green tree is there, you see, little spruce tree, and they started to unload the Zodiac. And I was standing here on the doorstep and hollering to them like I was in better shape than what I am now. But I was hollering to them, no, don't bother taking the boat off. We're not going to leave. I said, as soon as the tide goes out, the water will go down. So anyway, I don't know if they didn't hear me or they just wasn't paying any attention when they got in here. Like, they unloaded the boat up here on the road, and at the time, right about behind where that green tree is now. The little tree was, maybe wasn't even there then, but I used to have an old truck cap that I was selling off an old Ford Ranger I had, and that truck cap was sitting right about behind where that little green tree is now. And that's about right where they unloaded the boat with an outboard motor onto it. And they puttered in over the top of that truck cap. There was so much water there that they puttered in over the truck cap, never touched the motor, and even when they went over that. They got in here, the water was just up, I'll show you again, like the height of our doorstep. Like, it's pretty hard to tell, but I got like 1, 2, 3. The fourth step is the platform, so it's about a good, at least a couple of feet off the ground, and the water was right level with the top boards here on the thing. So they come in the Zodiac boat, put it right up to the doorstep, and one of the firemen jumped off, and I told him, like, man, we don't have to be rescued. I said, when this water goes out, it'll be good. I said, he said, no, he said, we'd rather take you now. He said, in case it gets worse, and we don't want to have to come back for you if it gets any worse. So anyway, we finally agreed to go, and in the first boat they had an adult fireman, my wife, and our son. At the time he was probably about 4 or 5 years old, and they took them in the first load, puttered out, and at the time we had moved our car, and my wife and I had to push the car back up to the head of the driveway there, because when we first discovered that we were flooded, the car was half underwater. I jumped into the car to try to move it, and when I did, when I sat on the seat, the water was just level with the seat, and my feet was actually underwater when I was trying to touch the pedals, and I didn't think it would start, but I turned the key just in case, and sure enough it wouldn't start because the motor was half underwater. But anyway, so my wife and I had to end up pushing the car back up to the head of the driveway, and like I said, back to when they was rescuing us, they took my wife and the adult fireman and my son in the first load, and then they puttered out, let them off at the road, and at the time there was like 4 inches of water like running across the road. And as you can see here, I'm going to point towards the end of our driveway here for a bit. Like where the driveway is here, like we had no ditch that stopped. The ditch stops on this side of the driveway, and down on the other side there we have it's all the grass of our front yard leads right out into the side of the road. So anyway, there was so much water rushing across the road that it gullied out like probably about an 8 to 12 inch deep gully the whole way across the front of our driveway. And it was kind of funny because the next day, like where we had flooded so bad, there was a local newspaper around here called the Coast Guard. They had sent a gentleman out to Burkestown where we had so much, well, I guess in Shelburne as well, there was a lot of flood damage. So he come in to interview us because he had seen we had taken some damage there, and he never noticed the gullied out part as you first drive down off the thing. When he was driving some kind of a little foreign model car, like a little Hyundai or something like that. But anyway, when he drove in, he didn't notice the gully there, and the smash, bang, he gave it to it when he come in over that, and we ended up having to push him up onto the lawn here on this side and push him out way over to the other side there, out over the edge of the lawn, so he wouldn't smash his car up again. So it was kind of funny there. but no, it was a pretty serious flood. And in the second, I guess, getting back to my story about the boat, I keep on getting distracted. Squirrel. But anyway, on the second load, when they took me and the other fireman, there was 2 firemen and me in the boat, and we puttered out and never touched anywhere as well. And if you can see here, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, but my wife's, you see the little, if you look here, she's got like a little clothesline hanging here, and the clothesline was in exactly the same position as what it is now. And before the rain, she had washed clothes, and she had beach towel hanging, like with all the other clothes, but there was a beach towel hanging on that line, and the water come up so high that that beach towel was half underwater, like so. And I don't know if you can tell here from the perspective, but you see the pulley out there on the tree. That's how high the thing is. The line must be at least a good 7 feet off the ground there. But like out back of our trailer here, we have a brook that runs out back. You can't see it from here, but I'm just showing the thing there. So that's where most of the water, so it was the deepest out in that back corner, and that's where the water was coming from. So like I say, with that towel being half underwater, like that was the deepest, probably the deepest part in our field. And like my building halfway up, I got a little building that sets out back there. It's quite rotted out now because of that, and I had a lawnmower in there at the time that was completely submerged underwater, and I ended up having to drain the oil out of that a couple of times and fill it back up, and the gasoline and stuff to get that going again. And it always kind of smoked after that because of the amount of water that had been laying in the thing for like over 24 hours. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you. Here I am back again. I'll adjust her down a bit. But I know it wasn't all that funny, but looking back on it, it was pretty major thing there at the time. But looking back on it, we can see some, have some laughs about it now, like at a pretty extreme situation at the time. But anyway, I know this one wasn't funny, but I always end my videos this way. Remember, if you can't laugh with me, laugh at me, but keep laughing. Have a nice day.